What's up, guys? Welcome back to this week's episode of Closed by Mo, the YouTube channel. I haven't posted too many videos on my YouTube channel, mainly because I realized that most of my client interactions or most of my revenue-based interactions or revenue-generating social media posts have actually been off of YouTube or the long-form videos, and more so on YouTube Shorts, Instagram, TikTok, all those things. But I figured, you know what? I'm here. What the heck? There's some content that you just can't condense into 60 seconds or 90 seconds for the algorithm. So I figured, hey, let me start making YouTube videos about it. Now, if you're not already familiar with me, my name is Mo. I'm a New York City and Long Island-based real estate broker and investor. And in this series of videos, not just this week's videos, I'm going to be basically documenting my entire process A to Z for doing my very first flip in New York City or Long Island in 2026. Now I'm going to, talk into a little bit more detail about why flips, what I'm looking for, all that fun stuff, but I'll save that for right after the intro. So stay tuned. Now, the main reason why I actually got into flips was because there is no real reason. I think for me as a person, my philosophy is to always be learning, always trying to get better and better at your craft. And I know that whatever I do in life is going to be in real estate in any one shape or form. So I figured, you know what, the last 5 years I've been doing it as an agent and now a broker. So I've started my own brokerage and I'm slowly growing the team. So I figured for me, it felt like the next best step was to actually start my own deals, my own investments, things like that. And I'm going to get into a little bit more detail about how my experience over the last 5 and 6 years actually definitely comes into play. But effectively, the reason why I've got into flips is just to get better at my craft. There is no real, money motivation per se. I think definitely there's a profit incentive there, but the money always comes in my perspective, in my experience. And for me, the main goal is to always get better and always learn more, because I know that my experiences and my learnings I can apply to future deals for more clients, more business, yada yada yada, all that fun stuff. Keep growing my business, whatever it is that I can do. But really the main, my main prerogative here is just keep pushing. That's pretty much it if I had to sum it up, which I think if you know me quite well, then you know that that explains my personality in like 2 words. Keep pushing. Now, what I'm actually looking for in terms of specific deals is still kind of vague. I'm not afraid to admit it. I feel like I don't know what I don't know, but every single day that I'm learning more, that I'm putting myself out there more, I am starting to narrow down my scope. So for example, I know that I definitely want a single family or 2-family property in either the New York City boroughs, specifically in Queens, or in the Long Island counties, which is Nassau or Suffolk. I know, the deeper I get into Suffolk, the cheaper the properties are. My criteria is that the property be within 600 to 700,000 in price range, and that there is at least a basement, whether it's finished or unfinished. I definitely want my own basement, and of course, it has to be completely vacant. I definitely don't want to purchase a property and then have to deal with any occupants, whether they're friendly, hostile, whatever it is. It's just not something that I want to take on for my very first project. And I've learned a couple of things so far already, and I'll make a separate video about this. I guess the one thing that I've learned is most people will always try and start the process a little bit backwards. And what I mean by that is you'll have a lot of agents or brokers get into the game with the perspective of trying to find buyers or trying to find the people that will help them sell the deal or whatever it is. And what I've come to learn, and I think anyone that's at least gotten a few reps in, is that buyers are a dime a dozen. Money's out there, doesn't really matter. What matters more is margin, meaning you have to be able to find the right deal, and the deal has to make sense, because if the deal is found and it makes sense on paper and there's enough margin in there for someone to make enough return, to be above the point of like like safe U.S. government bonds, whatever it is, then the money will come. It's not going to have any issue with finding the right buyer for it. So you live and sort of die by the margins itself. I've learned a couple of things so far in terms of the actual nitty-gritty. And if you thought that the New York City and Long Island real estate scene was dirty or a little bit shady, or you deal with a lot of unscrupulous agents, brokers, vendors, or just generally unscrupulous, shady players, this industry in terms of the off-market deals, foreclosure deals, distressed properties, my goodness. I mean, I've just started to dip my toe in a little bit, but some of the things that I've seen so far completely blew my mind. I mean, I really thought people must have thought I never graduated high school or something, the way that they thought they could, slip things by me. I'm not sure what they expected. The 2 scenarios stand out. Number one deal that I got close to, where the guy tried to sell me the deal and told me that I had to use his attorney to represent me in the transaction if we wanted the deal to get done. Absolutely no, that's not happening. As you know, New York State, It is an attorney state, meaning attorneys are the ones that draft and review contracts, and of course they'll review it with you, but they're also the ones that are the ones reviewing title and ordering the title searches through the title companies. So you sort of have to be very picky about who your attorney is, because the right or wrong attorney can make or break the deal. Anyone that's in a few deals will know this right out of the gate. The second thing that I've learned so far is a lot of these wholesalers or flippers or people that have the contracts and trying to sell you the contracts for the distressed properties, it's in their best incentive to make sure that you are able to close on the deal. Now, it doesn't mean that you just have the money to close on the deal, but that they're able to control more and more of the entire process. So the attorney, which you've already learned, but also the title company. I've had wholesalers tell me that they'll give me a deal if and only if I use their title company, and they claim that, hey, they've already done the title search, and you don't have to do the title search again and waste another 2 weeks or 3 weeks. My perspective is, well, why is that? A title company is the company that's going to make sure they go through the history of the title, the recorded owners, the chain of, title transfers or whatever it is, chain of ownership, and they're going to make sure that if there's any encumbrances, any liens, any easements, anything from violations or anything like that, that's the title company's job to uncover. So if someone is telling me, oh, you have to use my attorney or you have to use my title company, big red flag for me. I automatically want to just kick the deal and say, no, this is not going to happen. Because what happens is, and I've learned about this through some of my associates and some of my buddies in real estate, is that oftentimes when you want the deal bad enough, you'll say, okay, fine, I'll take the deal with your title company. And all of a sudden you go and sell the deal, or you want to flip the deal, and you find out through your own title search that, oh my God, there's one signature missing from one of the three beneficiaries of the trust, and we never, the previous title company never got this, and they still sold the deal. Or there was some missing paperwork in one of the title searches, and there was a lien uncovered or whatever it is. These are things that a title company's responsibility is to make sure of. I don't want to digress too much because I'll make a separate video about this, but those are the couple of things that I've already experienced so far, and it just shows me just how messy and dirty this space of the industry is, unfortunately. And I don't blame it. There's no regulation in this thing, right? It's like the wild, wild west. There's no fair housing. There's none of that. It's distressed deals. It's off-market deals. So, if you don't want it, go fish. That's it. What I have discovered, though, through just basic research and online university, is that when you're making offers on flip properties or properties that you might want to consider renovating and putting them back on the market, you have to look at what the offer price, the best offer price that you can give it. And in most cases, your best offer price is the after repair value, aka the market value, multiplied by 65 to 75%. Or in other terms, you're taking 65 to 75% of the value of the after repair value, and then subtracting your rehab costs from it. So 0.6 to 0.775 maybe multiplied by the ARV or the market value minus your rehab costs. And ARV is the market value, and me as a broker who's been active in different markets over the last several years, that's where I basically shine, so I can tell exactly where I think the market's probably going to land with a specific property. Where I struggle with is the actual deal sourcing, and then also the actual contractor estimates, things like that, which I've learned that, hey, it just comes from time and doing it. So I've always started reaching out to people and saying, hey, can I get a contractor estimate for this? Can I get an estimate for this? And can I get a walkthrough and all this fun stuff? So I am slowly starting to figure it out. And what I've discovered is that 65 to 75% is where most of the margin is made. So that's the cost for the financing, the hard money, the holding costs, interest, penalties up front, all that fun stuff. But it's also where your margin lies as the flipper. So within that 60 to 75%, you're going to have your margins or your profit percentage, then the cost of the loan, the cost of holding it, title searches, paperwork, attorneys, closing costs, all that stuff is there. And it doesn't even include the rehab costs that you'll have to take into account for. So all in all, it looks like, unless you're getting it at a very good price at a very steal deal, the margin is already quite tight to sort of begin with. And that's okay. For me, right now, I'm at a stage where I want to experiment and I want to learn to see what's out there. And I know that just by doing it, I'll be able to learn so much more that'll not just help me to do more deals, but also will help me grow the brokerage and grow my business and my own clientele, because now I can bring that expertise to my clientele, right? So now I know, for example, just by doing a couple of walkthroughs that, some basements definitely need waterproofing just by looking at the foundation walls, or a sump pump installed. And that's something that I can immediately bring to my clients that I'm looking at deals for, or that I'm being the broker for, and tell them, hey, look, this is what you may need or not need in a basement. And I'm sorry I'm rambling a little bit here, but that's just a matter of fact. Now, the other things that I've also discovered, and something that sort of I would say compelled me to start looking at this, is that I've been doing real estate or as a broker, as an agent for the last like 5.5, 6 years now. I'm at a stage now where my early clients have actually started to reach out to me and said, hey Mo, we really enjoyed working with you. Please let us know if you have any deals or anything that you're working on. We'd like to partner up with you if we can. And for the most part, it's quite grateful. I feel a lot of gratitude for hearing that, because it means that they trust me to be able to put their money with me, or want to put their money with me, to be able to look at these deals and put, raise the baby together, basically. It's also nerve-wracking on the other hand, because dude, it's scary, it's one thing to make a mistake with your own money, it's another thing to make a mistake with someone else's money. And I'm still struggling to accept that, hey, this is just the cost and risk of doing business. Like, this is what happens, right? And that's why investors are there. The investors want to lend out money so they can make money on their money. And they need people like me that are operators that can actually go in and identify deals and know how much it'll take to get the work done and all that stuff. Now, my biggest question mark is still the contractors and like learning how to like work with them and getting estimates and figuring out what works, what doesn't work. So I'm still at that stage of figuring things out. But what I can tell you is that I value momentum over margin. So if I make a bunch of mistakes this year, but I keep doing and keep picking myself back up, then that to me is a lot of value. The worst thing for me would be to make the mistakes and not learn anything from it. So I'm glad I'm in that headspace, and I wanted to share everything with you guys, so at least you guys can see the whole idea, the vision behind the flip by Mo, or doing the flips and everything, because long term there are definitely a lot of different things that I'd like to be doing, and you guys get to watch it with me. So thanks so much for watching to the end of the video. Sorry if this was a little bit rambly, because I haven't done a long form video in quite some time, but I hope this helps. Bye.